What's up, everybody? It's your bard, Vetis. And today, we're going to be talking about a new commander deck.
What? Why?
Why not?
Why do we need to do that?
I don't know, because it's fun.
How do I do that?
You don't do that until you can read. Alright.
Okay.
So, I played a couple games of Commander with my brother, which I talked about on the podcast. If you don't know the podcast, it is... Actually, I haven't made it yet, so I guess stay tuned. And so I have a podcast, but it's a different name. The one that I run right now is called EverQuest The Drive. Obviously, it's not about Magic, it's about EverQuest. But I am making a podcast for Commander. Adrian, keep it down, remember?
Okay.
Thank you. I doubt that's going to work. So, my brother, here's what he wants to do. So he's super new to the game, and let me just show you guys. And I'm sorry, Mike, when you watch this, because this is a video for you, and I don't want you to think that I'm talking smack on your deck, but I am, it's educational what we're doing right now. So, the deck that Mike has now is, first it was an Esika, and then he switched it to Storm. The idea around the deck, let me see if his other one. Mike's Esika. So we'll just skim through this deck real quick, all right? So it's got all the dual lands, it's got Vampire Tutor, and then it has like a bunch of cycling. Essentially, the idea is this: is that he wants to play this Hive Mind. Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, each other player copies that spell. Each of those players may choose new targets for his or her copy. And then the idea is that he plays like an intervention pact or something. So it basically says at the beginning of your next upkeep, you have to pay this. If you don't, you lose the game. He also threw in, and I like this one, Fatal Fortune, is that what it was? Fortune? Something Fortune. Final Fortune. So it's 2 red, take an extra turn after this one. Until the end of that turn, you lose the game. So, yeah, I could see that being pretty bonkers when it goes off. I don't know. So I'm trying to do a spin-off of his deck without having it falling in the, what is it, bracket 5? Is it bracket? How does it... I'm still trying to learn the brackets. It's brand new. Brackets. Yeah. So bracket 5, right?
Magic recently now.
So essentially, this says, bracket 3. It says no mass land destruction. Really? No chaining extra turns. What is life? Pause. Late game, 2-card, infinite combos, and 3 game changers. And here's the game changers list. So it's like Chrome Mox, Dranith Magistrate, Guy's Cradle, Fierce Guardianship. So I'll just point out the ones that are in his deck. I'm pretty sure are in the decks that he like gave to me. Which is Chrome Mox, Demonic Tutor, Fierce Guardianship. I didn't see Imperial Seal, Lion's Eye Diamond, Mox Diamond, Mana Vault, Mystical Tutor.
Yeah, because for some reason my tracking was horrible.
Vampiric Tutor. I think those were all the game changers that he had in the decks that he sent to me, right? So, and knowing Mike, what does this say? Bargain. You may sacrifice an artifact or enchantment or token as you cast. Search your library for a card. Exile. If the spell was bargain, you may cast the exiled card without paying. Oh. Yeah. So essentially the idea is to do that, right? Play Hive Mind, play something that people don't have the mana to pay. But the thing in what do you call it? Commander is there's a good chance people are going to be able to pay those costs, right? So I tried to, and then he had like another version, essentially the same deck, but with Storm at the head. But the thing is I was trying to figure out. I think what he was trying to do, and like I said, guys, he's new, so cut him some slack. I'm not talking smack at all, because this game is so complicated, right? But I think what he was trying to do was he wanted to use like cycling as casting the spells, maybe, because he wanted to cast a bunch of spells. So essentially, like he gets out the Hive Mind, and then he casts a bunch of spells, so he can then storm. And when he storms, he does Pact of the Titan. And then he'll play like 6 versions of Pact of the Titan. In which case people, probably are not going to have. I'm bad with math, right? But that's what 30 mana. So there's a good chance they probably can't pay that. But I just think it's a tall order, and then that's all the deck does. So it doesn't really like cast creatures. There's no defense. It takes a long time to get there. So I'm trying to do a version of this deck that makes a little bit more sense. So it is. My brother does like to play like a higher power level. So it is going to have some cards that you don't typically see in casual. But to be honest, I think all of them are fine in casual. I don't think there's anything in here that's like. I think the only things that people might really be like, oh my god, why is that in there? Is omniscience, right? So 3 blue, 7 enchantment. You may cast non-land cards from your hand without paying their mana cost. So you get this out, everything becomes free, right? So, but here's the thing. The way that I build decks is I aim for the deck to be doing the thing by turn 7, right? So that creates like normally like 5 or 6 turns of interaction. And if people just aren't interacting with what I'm trying to do by turn 7, I'll say this, like, Gabriel, I'm making a video, be quiet. Gabriel, do you hear me? Sorry about my hyena.
What's the video called?
I don't know what it's going to be called yet. It's going to be called Mike's Huge Deck. So here's the idea with this deck. And I don't know. I might take Pariah out. I had it made more sense when I had Muldrotha in, but I took Muldrotha out. I don't know. Tweaking is still happening. We might even tweak during this video, but here's the idea of the deck. So it has Mike's combo ish. So I did change the combo a little bit, but it makes it more consistent. So actually, it's probably easier just to, like in an actual game. If you guys don't know what this is untap.in. If you subscribe for like $2, and I'm not like they don't pay me any money. I'm just telling you. You can have like infinite decks on it. If you don't, you get like 8 or 10 decks for free. So if you want to cycle them out, you could build a deck and then save it in a notepad, and then delete that deck, and then you could just upload it anytime. So you don't have to pay any money to use this thing. It's super awesome. It's super 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 awesome. So here's the deck, the version of Mike's deck that I've been trying to make. This is how I play Magic, and the people, like the playgroups that I played, really, really, really like it. We're very casual. This is like a house rule. You don't have to do this. The deck would play fine even if you didn't, but it definitely plays better when you do this. And any deck would play better. But instead of drawing 7, so this is like my version of a mulligan. It's like you get 1 free mulligan and that's it. Okay, 1 free mulligan, and then you can't mulligan anymore. Like you just, well, that's not true. I let people mulligan as much as they want. I'm trying to make it seem more fair, but really, just have integrity. But instead of drawing 7, you draw 10. You draw 10, stay with me, and then you put 3 back. So I usually just throw back like late game cards. I'm just like, all right, late game cards, and we're good. And then I shuffle, someone cuts, and then we play. So now we'll test, right? It makes for people like having all their land drops, and like it makes for really really good games where like if you play like this and people have integrity, like people will almost never know, like because they're gonna get 3 lands, and you're like, all right, keep, right? You're gonna get at least 3 lands, you're gonna keep. But if you play like this, what happens is the games are just super consistent, and like there's almost no need for a mulligan anymore. But I digress. Turn 1, we're gonna test this to the maximum potential. So we'll draw for turn, we'll play a land for turn, and then, well, and actually I would do this one, comes into play tapped, and then turn 2. And then I would draw cast, and this is definitely a slower turn, but that's fine. So we don't have white mana. So here's what I would do right now. Is I would, anytime that it doesn't play consistent, I make a minor tweak. So I'll jump out. And of course the first game that I do, it doesn't. Which honestly, it's very rare that it doesn't. I want to see if I have a temple garden. I got a temple garden right there. Actually, I don't like the art for this one. I like... it's fine. Let's see that one. Let's do this. Did I already take the card out? I think I did. I think I'm gonna do a Triumph. I haven't added any Triumphs yet. Yeah, baby.
I need 4 more trophies to get the next level.
Oh, I think I would do
trophies.
Rogren Triumph.
I need 4 more to get 10.
Okay.
So I can get to the next level. I have to get 10 trophies to get to the next level.
All right. Good luck. All right. So, next test. We're back to it. So we'll draw 10. And then we will keep 3 lands. throw some late game cards back. And then shuffle, and then draw for turn. And then we'll do this. We will pay 1 life, sack it, and we can see we would like white, black, red, or white. I think that triumph actually is going to be exactly what we want. So we can just search, try, and white, blue, red. Yeah, that's going to be really, really good. The only thing we're really missing is black, but that's okay. All right, turn 2, untap, upkeep, draw. We will play a forest for the turn once again. And then, like, right now I would look and be like, is there any of these cards that I would like actually be like, ooh, let's take that out and add ramp. And Anvil is kind of, so it has a sub theme. This deck has a sub theme of like group hug, Nakusar. So it does have kind of this sub theme of like helping people draw cards, but also hurting them. So that's fine. So we'll just go turn 3. And this is typically the kind of Magic I play. I definitely play a slower Magic than most people. So I don't know what to tell you. It's just, it is what it is. So what I would do here is I would pay 3 and play a Phyrexian, and I do have to like just imagine that I could copy something, and I imagine I could copy a Felwar Stone, an Arcane Stone, a Commander Sphere, or a Soul Ring. So I'll lose 2 life, and we'll copy we'll copy a Felwar Stone. All right. And then turn 4. So this is very, very, very likely. Like, I'm not just doing something that's not super likely. That is extremely likely that somebody would, on turn 3, that someone's going to have some kind of mana rock that I'm going to be able to copy that's going to help me fix my colors. That's just a thing that's going to happen for sure. So now I have a lot of really, really good options. Really good options. Ideally on turn 4, and a lot of times it works out, but this game it did not, is I would have 5 colors and I could make Esika the prismatic bridge. And I wonder if there's a hotkey for that. I bet there is. L. So this game it didn't happen, but that's okay because we'll do a bunch of play tests. No worries at all. So I can either help everybody draw, I can pariah somebody else's creature, so then all damage dealt to me is dealt to that creature. So it works as like it's almost like a Spore Frog for me that turn, but also it's a Spore Frog and like a removal at the same time. It's unfortunate, like Rakdos is kind of a dead draw here, but obviously Rakdos is super worth it later. I think I would probably do red or black, and 2 others for Spiteful Visions. And then I like to keep track of it. It would be everybody would draw an extra card, so at a minimum, it would deal 6 damage across the table. So this guy would take 2, this guy would take 2, this guy would take 2. Minimum, right? Because it says at the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. When a player draws a card, Spiteful Vision deals 1 damage to that player. This card does include us, which is unfortunate, but it's fine. It's whatever. So turn 5, draw 2 cards, and now I think we could probably get away with doing a Defense of the Heart. And people would probably have to like scramble and like kill off creatures for this not to pop because it's turn 5. I think it's very likely that turn 5, Defense of the Heart. Of course, it's also says like smash me square in the mouth, right? So Defense of the Heart is probably going to get me a lot of pain. So I could do that, or we could do propaganda, and now we're just like safe, right? We're just like safer, and then we actually can do. This is actually a good play. We can actually do the Anvil of Bogardian as well. Each player skips his or her discard phase. During each player's draw phase, that player draws an additional card that then chooses and discards a card. So what's happening is everybody's going to have to draw 3 cards, right? But if they want to attack me, they have to get taxed pretty significantly. So are people willing to do that? Maybe, maybe not, right? We'll see. And I think maybe instead of Angrath's Marauders, this is more for fun and flavor. It might actually make sense to put Muldroth back in. But we're going to try it. So then we would pass around the table again, and everybody would draw 3 cards. So now we would go 3, 6, 9 is the amount of damage. Oh, and I guess I took 2 as well. And then we're turn 6, draw, and now, and this, it really does suck that it's this late. It's not normally this late for the Prismatic Bridge, but we could do Utopia Sprawl, and we'll call this a swamp. And note, black. So it says, enchant a forest. As Utopia Sprawl enters the battlefield, choose a color. We chose black. When it's tapped for a green mana, it will also add 1 mana of the chosen color, which will be black. Right, so now we can do, let's see, we could do red, green, black, blue, white. And I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry about that. We actually need to draw 2 extra cards first, right? And we'll take 3. Okay, so in this case, we can just... Did I play a forest? No, I didn't even play a land for the turn. Alright, so we'll play a land for the turn. And now we have a lot of choices. Well, do we? Not really, because we don't have the mana fixing for this one yet, which is fine. I think I would go green for this. It'll be black, and then we'll have all of our colors with just this one: green, black, blue, white, red. And then we could play the Prismatic Bridge. We could do that. We could do Defense of the Heart. We could do Pariah. Any of those is going to like keep us in the game, but honestly, it's not a great showing of this. But we play for turn 7. We'll see what turn 7 looks like. So turn 7, we now get the Prismatic Bridge trigger. So let's see what happens with that. And this is not your typical Esika deck. I'm not saying it's better. I'm sure the Planeswalker ones are super duper OP and annoying and awesome. This is not that deck. This is more like a casual, lower power, but does fun, cool stuff, right? Eventually. So we'll draw to play to reveal, and as soon as we see our first creature, that's what goes into play. And very extremely sadly, it's a Clever Impersonator. Kind of. So with the Clever Impersonator, and these all go on the bottom of our library. So we'll move these to the deck bottom. We can have Clever Impersonator come into play as a copy of either Spiteful Visions or Propaganda. For me, it would be one of these two. And I'd probably do propaganda, just so people have to pay 4 mana to attack me. So it's just like more walls up, right? And then after that trigger, now I draw 1, 2, 3 for turn and lose 3 life. And we, at a minimum, we've done 24 damage with Spiteful Visions. 1, 2, and then our draw for turn. These draws are interesting. I swear to God, this deck does not whiff like this normally. This is banana hammock. But it's fine. I think I'd probably sit on this Cyclonic Rift. Oh, and then I would discard. I have to discard a card, which would be. It would really depend on what I'm seeing, but I get probably the Dictate. And then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. And we have black. So we don't have enough for Massacre Worm. Guaranteed Defense of the Heart probably pops off. Or we can just like sit on Cyclonic Rift and probably get to our next turn and be fine. So we can calculate a turn 8 this game. So we would Psycho Rift, go to turn 8, and then we would get Prismatic. Alright, we get Niv, and then this deck does not run Curiosity. You're welcome, the public, to give me like suggestions on cards. I'm happy to look at stuff, but if it's like any infinite combo, 2-card stuff, it's not going to go in. It's just not. Yeah. Oops, I didn't mean to shuffle. That's actually kind of a mistake. But now we'll draw 3 again. Nice. And then we got our land for the turn, and now we could do really anything, right? Because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. This costs 8. We could continue to put our shields up. I'll probably just end this test here, but I'd probably just do Platinum Empyrean. My life total cannot change, and that just buys me even more time, right? People can't swing in. Usually pretty darn good. But let's do another test, because I feel like that one was kind of ass. Alright, keep existing deck. Okay, turn 1, shuffle. 10. And then we'll throw back Avacyn, we'll throw back Urbrask, and Temple Bell? Sure. Alright, turn 1. Oh, wait. Let me put this back. Okay. Turn 1. You got Old Gnawbone. Let's see. Wooded Foothills. There's. I need black and red. Find a card. Black and red. And turn 2. I can do white and blue. I kind of need both white and blue. Oh, you know what we should have done last turn? Is got that Triumph. For testing, let's pretend like we didn't mess that up. So now, because this has a mountain. So we definitely could have got that. So we'll say that that's what we got instead. We'll try not to mess it up in the future. And then I want a white and a blue. I think what we'll do is let's go red blue. This one we're just not gonna have black. That's not good. You kind of need a black pretty bad, actually. Black and black and black and. It's black and white or black and blue, doesn't it? That's fine. Okay, so here we go. Jeez, we did it. You really do have to like pay attention to your land, so pretty closely. And now this can come and play tapped. We can tap one for Soul Ring, tap that for 2 for Howling Mine, and then turn 3. Everybody draws 2 cards. Do a forest, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana, and we're gonna do. This actually would be a really good time for Smothering Tithe. To be honest, Smothering Tithe would slap right now. That's what I would play. The John's Reflection would be sick, but one. Well, let me think. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Dawn's Reflection for what, 3? So not enough. Yeah, I would definitely do Smothering Tithe here. And then we go to turn 4. And what would happen is, so it's 4 mana enchantment. Whenever an opponent draws a card, that player may pay 2. If they do not, you create a treasure. And we're making people draw at least 2 if they're not already drawing cards themselves, which they probably are. So we're going to play this to max potential. I mean, 2 mana per draw is a huge ask. Smothering Tithe is an asshole card, but I think it's totally fine. So in that case, everybody draws 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, a pretty good chance that you get. I mean, even if we're saying like, oh, they paid the total of 4 mana to stop me from getting 2 treasures, unlikely, but maybe. And these would actually be like legit treasures, so we don't lose these if. I think you get all 6. I'll be honest. I really think you get all 6. So now we go to turn 5. Wait, I'd already changed. No, we're on turn 4. We're on turn 4. So now we would untap, upkeep, draw. We would get a Howling Mine. We would get a forest, and now, dude, we are so set up. We are sitting super pretty right now. So I think I would do. I'll just go boom. Kiss that goodbye. Is this on a forest? So then when this taps, I'll get 2 mana of any combination. So we'll go green, blue, red, black. Oh, that's why this seems weird. So we go blue, red, green, black, white.
Come get some Vetis on and brush your teeth.
Mama, I got to finish
So
this.
we got our 5 mana.
I got to finish this bedrock.
So we'll get this prismatic in play.
Hold up.
And we still have 1, 2, 3. So I would just do Soul Ring plus Kodama. This is search for 2 basic lands, 1 in play tapped, 1 not.
Okay. I found a trophy.
So find a card. And obviously we just kind of fill in the gaps here. So I do a red, I do a black. Right? Is that or a blue? But I have 2 blue here. No, I'm good. So one of these into play. Tapped 1 into the hand. And then I would pass. And now we're only on turn 5, you guys. We're only on turn 5. And I promise you, I'm telling you, we're getting so many treasures off of this Smothering Tide. Like, if they don't, they have to blow it up. And if they don't blow it up, let's be real. 6 minimum now, because they're also probably drawing their own cards to their hand, right? So, disgusting. Like, we're doing real well now. So, now we're going to do the prismatic thing. So, I'll draw to play. We get a Niv, get another Niv. This goes to the bottom of the deck. And then we draw 2. And then we'll play a land for the turn. And this also says, so understand this. This says, at the beginning of your upkeep, this happens. And when this happens, you get a creature in play. And then we draw. So now we have a Niv Mizzet Haroon that says, whenever you draw a card, deal a damage to any target. Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card. So now we just drew 2 cards per turn, so now we get 2 free damage. 2 damage is happening, no matter what. And then I think I would probably just go. Like, it's just scary at this point, right? Is this turn change counter? This is turn 5. The reason that we have an extra mana is because we did Kodama's Reach. This is turn 5. And like I said, the deck is aimed for turn 7. Like, it's game-winning stuff turn 7. So right now, like, it's already getting scary on turn 5. This is really, really good for Commander. So we have a ton of mana. We have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 mana. Turn 5, we have 16 mana. We're going to do Soul Ring for Felwar Stone. And then I would want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and just drop that Gnawbone. And then I would do. It's a lot better when you get the Gnawbone off of Prismatic, which is very likely. Like, it definitely happens, but it's fine. We also run Urabrask in the deck, so there's potential that this already has haste as well. But then the next thing I would do is just eat for 3 treasures. And, well, actually, I would do 2 treasures. And then we'd get the Font of Mythos. And now my opponents on turn 5 have a 7/7 flying and a 5/5 flying that they have to get through in order to get to me. And every time they cast an instant or a sorcery, I'm going to draw a card. And every time I draw a card, I can deal out damage. So now, once again, let's just call it the minimum, which it 100% is. Actually, no. Now that we have Font of Mythos, people are going to be drawing out the yin yang. So I'm just going to add 4. I am undershooting the amount of treasures we would have. Just so you know. This is undershooting the amount of treasures that we would actually have right now. So let's go to turn 6. This is such a better showing than the last game. Last game was bullshit. Like, this is the usual, like, shenanigans that you're going to see from this deck. This deck's awesome. Okay. So now we get to do the thing, Prismatic Bridge. And we get a Clever Impersonator. Not ideal, but honestly, like I think Smothering Tithe and Old Gnawbone and all the mana, like we're good on mana, so I'd probably just do a font. I'd probably just clone the font and then go to my draw, which would be the one for turn, the one for Howling Mine, and the two for Font of Mythos. And I also just want to point out, like, whenever a player casts an instant or a sorcery, I draw a card. What are the chances my opponents played an instant or a sorcery on one of those turns? Pretty high, right? So I'm just going to do one extra draw, just because it's very likely that at least one out of the three played an instant or sorcery, right? Now, I feel like I need more draw cards in this deck, to be honest. But let's throw down a forest, and then let's toss out the lantern. So now we don't have to worry about our lands. Like our lands just do all the things now. Actually, you know what we could do? Yeah, no, actually, we don't need kitty gloves because we have so much mana. It doesn't matter. Now, when we drew those 5 mana, we got 5, or those 5 cards, we got to deal out 5 damage. 1 damage to any target per draw. So when we draw 5, right, we're just blowing up creatures that are a problem, or planeswalkers that are a problem. We're not necessarily probably throwing this at somebody's face right now. But yeah. So now here's what I would do, because I'm a dirty, dirty girl. I would go to combat. And I would sling both of these bad boys at my opponent, like someone that doesn't have flying, right? And then Old Gnawbone says whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, create that many treasure tokens. And so now I'm going to add 12 more treasure tokens. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we'll get 12 treasure tokens. So now at our disposal we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 37. And I don't even think we've played... Yeah, we did. Moved a forest from hand to play. So now here's what I would do, is I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I would play Massacre Worm. And this says when Massacre Worm enters the battlefield, creatures your opponents control get -2/-2 until end of turn. Whenever a creature an opponent's controls is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, that player loses 2 life. But wait, there's more. Now I'm going to I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 mana, and we are going to play the ever lovely, beautiful, amazing Rite of Replication. 2 blue and 2 colorless. Put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of target creature, but we kicked it for an extra 5. We spent an extra 5 mana. Now it says if Rite of Replication was kicked, put 5 of those tokens on the battlefield instead. What did we copy? Massacre Worm. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my opponent's creatures got a grand total of -12. -12. So probably everything is dead, and everything that died becomes that player losing 2 life. Also, we played a sorcery. So we draw a card because of Nizzaparoon. Yay, we drew a card. Hey, look, it's a really awesome card. a very awesome card. So now we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we are also going to drop a Consecrated Sphinx. And now what's going to happen? Now we pass the turn, so we are not even on turn 7 yet. But here's what's going to happen. We're going to pass a turn. Our opponents, at a minimum, have to draw 1 for turn, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Every time that they draw, whenever an opponent draws a card, you may draw 2 cards. So the very first player that is drawing right now, I get to draw 12 cards minimum. And it's May. I don't have to. I can if I want to. Awesome. 12 cards for me. What does that mean? That's 12 damage from Niv Mizzet Haroon. And that's going to happen for every opponent. So it goes to the next opponent. We draw another 12. Minimum. We do another 12 damage. We go to the next opponent. We draw another 12. Minimum. And then we deal out 12 damage. And what else is happening right now? Smothering Tide. Every time an opponent draws a card, they can pay 2 mana. If they don't, we get a colorless. We get a treasure. What are the odds out of those 36 draws that our opponents decided to spend 72 mana to stop us from getting treasures? I say nay. I say they probably have resigned themselves to their fate, and they're just going to let us have. What did we say? 36? Oh my gosh, math hurts. I'm going to let this do the thing. So we added 30, 35, 36. So now we have 52 mana just in treasures. And now we also have like options, right? If what I didn't put in this deck is like, there's not really any counter spells. It's more like anti-counter spells. I don't know if that's a mistake or not, but it's what I did. So again, we're playing until turn 7, right? So it's likely, like, we did game-winning stuff on turn 6. Let's be honest, that was a nasty turn 6. It happens. Oh, sorry. Actually, this would be drawn to play because we're doing the prismatic bridge thing. So, okay, we get a Dryad of the Elysian Grove, and then this goes to the bottom of our deck. And then the beginning of our turn, we're going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we get to deal out another 6 damage. And then this, obviously, this turn we win. There's no way we don't win on this turn. Did I draw 6, or is it just laggy? I couldn't tell if it actually like added cards. So here's what we could do, right? I'm pretty sure we have Omniscience in our hand. That it's 10 mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll play our land for turn. And look, this is primarily plains, you guys. You do not have to fill your deck with all the dual lands that are $700 a piece. You don't have to do that. Just if you build your deck intelligently, you're fine. Look, Chromatic Lantern. Lands you control have tap at 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. I know Josh Lee Kwai hates this card and says it's garbage, but Josh Lee Kwai also has like a million dual lands, right? You don't have a million dual lands. I don't have a million dual lands. You don't need them. They're overrated. This is causing all my lands to be any color. Dryad of the Elysian Grove is also causing all my lands to have every basic land type in addition to the other types, meaning all of my lands are better than dual lands. They're what's the one after Quadra? Penta? They're Penta lands. And this one also says I can play an extra land on my turn. So, sure. And this one I don't even have to use. Because now I'm going to put Omniscience into play. And Omniscience says I win the game, essentially. So Omniscience says you may cast non-land cards from your hand without paying their mana cost. Well, what do we get to do this turn? This turn, we get to, and I want to see, do I have it in my hand or not? There's a good chance that I do, but I might not. And even if I don't, it's all good. But what we're looking for is Enter the Infinite. And I'm sadly not seeing it. So here's the thing, right? If I was thinking about putting like Razaketh in the deck, and maybe now's like a good time. Oh, you know what? We totally could. I think I have the deck geared more towards. That makes me sad because, oh, you know what? We're good. Whenever you cast spell. Here's what we can do. Big brain plays. Actually, I don't think we can because I don't have anything that costs. I think Enter the Infinite costs 12 mana. So I'm trying to see how I could get to 12. So let's do this. All right, big plays, boys. Everything's free. Everything is free. So what we're going to do is we're going to I think I would do, this is what I would do. I would go Sunbird's Invocation first. So this says, whenever you cast a spell from your hand, reveal the top X cards of your library, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. You may cast cards revealed this way with converted mana cost X or less without paying its mana cost, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So, I mean, to be honest, you guys, if I put like one, I don't really want to do Razaketh because you have to sacrifice a creature. But if I put one like Tutor, which I've been trying to avoid, I could very likely get what I'm trying to get to, right? But we can do this. We can do Commander Sphere, okay? And then we get a Sunbird's Invocation trigger. So this goes 1, 2, and we're really hoping that it's not going to be Enter the Infinite. All right, great. So we can't do any of those. So these all go on the bottom of our library. Okay, and then we can tap this for a mana, not that we need it, and sacrifice it. Then we can actually draw a card. Ah, bummer. And then we'll do Temple Bell. And we'll gamble again, and hopefully we don't. It's very like it's more chance that we're going to hit Enter the Infinite than, oh wait. I pressed the wrong button. So it's a forest and a Machine God's Effigy. So these both go on the bottom of the library. And then we will Temple Bell, and each player draws a card, which means whenever an opponent draws a card, we can draw 2 cards. So now we'll draw 1 for us, and then 2 for each other player. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you know what we could have done too to trim this down if we were really doing this big brain? So the thing is like if I do this one, so let's pretend we played this smarter. Oh my gosh, dude, it's crazy. All right, so let's pretend we did not do our Temple Bell yet. What we would do, and I just put all those back on the top of my library. That's why it says deck 0. And then what we would do is we would actually do Tooth and Nail for free, and we it's entwined. So Tooth and Nail says, search your library for up to 2 creature cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, and then shuffle your library, or put up to 2 creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. So in this case, we're entwining them, so we get to do both because we paid the entwine cost. So this costs a grand total of 9. So first thing is we have a Niv Perun trigger, so we'll draw a card, and then we will find 2. I don't have Machine God's Effigy, or I would show you guys a really sick combo. Let's just pretend I do. Just for educational purposes. I want to show you guys something. So let's pretend Machine God's Effigy is in my hand. So this is the order that we would have to do this. Let me put this back in the deck real quick. So before we do Tooth and Nail, what we would do is we would play Machine God's Effigy. And this says, this is the only infinite in the deck that I'm aware of, just so you know. This says you may have Machine God's Effigy enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it's an artifact and it has tap for 1 blue. So check this out. This says you may have it enter the battlefield as a copy, so you don't have to. All right, so we're not going to have that enter as anything. So it's just an artifact that taps for a blue, but it does say, when this enters, it can copy a creature on the battlefield. Okay. Now, then we would cast Tooth and Nail, entwined, and now we could search our library for 2 creature cards and put them onto the battlefield. So we will do probably these 2 would be a lot of fun. And then check this out. Now it's gonna get disgusting. So these enter simultaneously. So the Astral Dragon cannot. It can't copy a creature anyways. But let's say this was like Progenitor Mimic. It can't copy if Progenitor Mimic, which is kind of like a clone, comes in at the same time as the other creature, like Karavik the Merciless. It can't copy it. Okay. It has to copy something that was already on the battlefield. But I'll read Karavik the Merciless just so you can see how awesome he is. It says, whenever an opponent casts a spell, Karavik the Merciless deals damage to target creature or player equal to that spell's converted mana cost. Here's what is so awesome about that. This says whenever an opponent casts a spell, Karavik the Merciless deals damage. So the actual creature itself deals that damage. So if we had... I'm just showing you like the cool-ass combos on this deck. If we had Phyresis enchanted onto this creature. So Phyresis says enchanted creature has infect. So now all the damage Karavik deals is in the form of poison counters. So all you need is 10 damage from Karavik now to kill somebody. And that's not hard to do. when you have 3 opponents. Like between the 3 of them combined, they're probably going to cast a grand total of more than 10. So somebody's going to die. Somebody is going to die. Take care of Vic the Merciless with Phyresis. So I just threw that on there just because it's cool, right? But let me show you guys this. This is so sick. So this is my favorite card in Magic, just so you know. Astral Dragon is my absolute favorite card in Magic. And Machine God is also like way, way up there. So here's what happens is when Astral Dragon enters the battlefield, it's a 4/4 flyer, flying dragon for 8. It says when Astral Dragon enters the battlefield, create 2 tokens that are copies of target non-creature permanent. Except they're also 3/3 dragon creatures in addition to their other types, and they have flying. So we can copy a non-creature permanent. That means we can copy lands, we can copy artifacts, we can copy enchantments, we can copy planeswalkers, we can copy battles, we can copy anything that's not a creature that is also a permanent. So not a spell, right? Not a sorcery or an instant. So what we do is we copy the Machine God's Effigy. And what happens is it says create 2 tokens. So we get 2 copies. So we're copying a Machine God's Effigy that has no copies, or that didn't copy anything. It's just a Machine God's Effigy. So what happens is we have 1 copy become an Astral Dragon. And then the other one, we don't have it copy. It just, we do the May thing, right? Or sorry, no, actually we can have this copy. Actually, actually this can also be an Astral Dragon, because then when these come into play, we get 2 more triggers of copying, which we'll then choose to copy the Machine God's Effigy again. So what that means is we can make infinite Astral Dragons, and then we can make infinite Machine God Effigies. So these all tap for mana. It makes infinite mana. If we have haste, which we do, we can play Urbrask the Hidden, and all our creatures have haste. So we have infinite mana. We have infinite Astral Dragons. You can also like 1 Astral Dragon. No, I think that's how it has to happen. Okay, so we copy the Machine God's Effigy. Then we can choose for one of these to come in as an Astral Dragon, and then the other one can come in as whatever. Any non-creature. So we could do like Sunbirds. We could do Smothering Tithe. We could do... so we can make infinite Sunbirds invocations. We can make infinite Smothering Tithes. If we had... So let's look at this. This is also dope. So if we played Sakashima as a copy of, let's say, Niv Mizzet Perun, so he says you may have Sakashima of 1,000 Faces enter the battlefield as a copy of another creature you control, except it has Sakashima of 1,000 Faces' other abilities, which is now we ignore the legend rule. The legend rule does not apply to permanents you control, which means what? We can copy a legendary enchantment, because the legendary rule doesn't apply anymore. So now we can make infinite prismatic bridges. So really what I'm saying is, like, if you have this combo, you can make infinite of all of your non-creatures at this point. We can make infinite... well, actually, because Machine God's Effigy copies a creature on the battlefield, now we can make infinites of everything. So we've literally just infinited our entire board. Infinite Caravix, infinite Temple Bells, which we would totally do. We would do infinite Temple Bells, so then we could just like scientifically draw into, where is it? Now we can like surgically get to, what do you call it? The enter the infinite with the temple bell, because the drawing, the, what do you call it? So we have infinite Niv Mizzet Perunes, right? So this can all just be infinite damage. Every draw, a billion damage. Billion damage. Billion damage. But then we hit enter the infinite, and then we pass. So enter the, sorry. No, we wouldn't. We would do, where are you? We would just need the hive mind, which I know I have. There it is. So get the hive mind, and then we enter the infinite, and now everybody has to cast and enter the infinite. Everybody draws cards equal to the number of cards in their library, and then they put a card from their hand on top of their library. So now, we draw our library, right? And then we take one card and we put it on top of our library. So everybody has to cast a copy of that, right? Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, each other player copies that spell. Each of those players may choose new targets for his or her copy. So now everybody has now played it Enter the Infinite. Everybody has one card on the top of their deck. So now when I pass the turn, what happens? I mean, obviously we're like giving the opportunity to lose a game, but you know, if they have something where they can make us draw somehow. But what happens is, because we have Howling Mine, all we really need is one Howling Mine, but we have, you know, infinite. When we pass the turn, everybody just draws out and loses the game. So I digress, right? Like, we could play everything in our hand. We could, I mean, once the like, if you get the Astral Dragon Machine God's Effigy combo late game, it's insane. So again, this is turn 7. Truly, we won on turn 6. Like, very, very likely we won on turn 6, but this is turn 7. Could we put in counterspells? Could we put in Laboratory Maniacs? Could we put in that Jace, you know, if you draw out your deck, you win the game? Yes. I think those are lame ways to win the game. Can you do it? Yes. Do I think you shouldn't put counterspells in the deck? No, I think counterspells would be a good addition, and I think counterspells are fine. I think you know, anybody that hates counterspells, that because you know, they claim it's not casual, they just suck at the game. Like, imagine if you countered the Prismatic Bridge. You know what I mean? Like, counterspells are very, very, very good. Imagine if you countered Omniscience. So that's the deck. I hope you guys like it. I think it really, I mean, I did kind of, I cheated to show you the Machine God's Effigy combo, but because that combo is bonkers. It's so crazy. Because you could totally just, like, one of the Machine God's Effigies is always an Astral Dragon, and then the other one is just whatever, right? So, well, I'm trying to think too, right? So if I did both are Astral Dragons, then that means this one I could do Machine God's Effigy copying a creature, and this one over here I could do Astral Dragon copying a non-creature permanent. So should be able to do everything. Yeah. It's crazy. It is a nutty buddy deck. It is a gnarly deck. Very, very cool. Very, very fun. It's absolutely casual. I mean, you saw that first game. It can kind of have a slower start. This, I would say, is kind of becoming the potential, which just comes from like tweaking it all the time. Not all games go like this. Like this one went really well, which I'm super happy because I really wanted to showcase the potential of this deck. And as you can see, it's absolutely insane. And the thing is like people who play casual can't really cry about this deck because if you're pulling off a card that costs 10 mana or a combo that is 18 mana, really 28 mana. I mean, if you're pulling off a 28 mana combo, you deserve to win anyways. You know what I mean? I think it's a dope deck, and it's not like what you normally see, right? Because normally what you would probably see is like, I mean, someone could do like, here's a lame version of this deck. Let me show you guys. Let me show you what I mean by like super lame. Let me just show you this. Keep existing. So this is like a typical Esika person deck. And like what I think people with no ambition for doing cool stuff would build their deck. This is what I think it would do. Okay, turn 1, draw. Sure, come and play tap. Turn 2, draw. Turn, we'll pretend, we'll save time. We'll pretend we go get a land. Turn 3, draw. Cool. Take two life. Pay these 3. Play Chromatic Lantern. Okay, turn 4. Alright, sick. We get the forest, and then we can tap turn 4 for the prismatic bridge, and then turn 5 draw. Oh wait, so what happens is we get our prismatic bridge trigger, which would be, and it's funny that it is Nekusar, but I was gonna say, actually, so I wouldn't put any creatures in the deck. If I wanted to be a super tryhard, this is what I would do. I wouldn't put. There would be one creature in this deck, you guys. One. Here we go. Where are you? Okay. Boom. And then I draw for turn, right? Draw for turn. And then these would all be like tutors. These would be like tutor. Whatever. I'll be like, all right, pay 2 mana. Demonic tutor. And I go and I would search for this card right here. And I can tap for any color, right? And then I'd put Curiosity on Nib Visit, and then I win. Because it says, whenever enchanted creature deals damage to an opponent, draw a card. And this says, whenever you draw a card, deal damage to an opponent. So now I just, so it's like, all right. Well, or maybe I got a Concordant Crossroads in my hand too. So I can just do it this turn, right now. It's just like haste and tutors, baby. Creatures can, it basically says all creatures have haste. Like you, everybody has haste. Cool. Now I can draw a card and then deal a damage. Okay, I draw a card and then I deal a damage. And then When I deal damage, I draw a card. And then I draw a card, and then I deal damage. And then I deal damage, and I draw a card. And then I draw a card, and then I deal damage. And I just... I don't know, there's probably some card that's like, pay 2 mana, deal damage equal to the cards that you drew. It's like 40 damage to you, 40 damage to you, play my last 2 mana, blow up the third player. It's, you guys, this is so lame. This is such a lame way to win. It's so lame. LAME. Do not play like this. Anybody can do this. It's so brain dead. You don't have to have any skill or any, there's no deck building required to do this crap. It's so dumb. Welcome to the channel. I hope you guys liked it. This is a channel, I'm telling you right now, that hates on competitive EDH. That literally is an oxymoron of a format. Fight me? What's up, baby?
Nighttime.
Oh, okay. You're right. It is nighttime. I'll wrap up, okay? But here's the thing. EDH. What was the point of EDH? It was we doubled the life total, and we made it to where it was a singleton format. So you couldn't do the same, like you couldn't have 4 of each card in a smaller deck. So it made your deck less, it made it way more random and way less consistent. And having higher life totals gave more like running room for takeoff, so we could do the bigger spells. So we could play the Enter the Infinites. So we could play the Omnisciences. So we could play the Astral Dragons. You couldn't do that in 60 card with 20 life. So when you play CEDH and you build your deck where it's just a million tutors and free interaction like deflecting SWAT and this is to everybody. Like this is I don't want my brother to feel like I'm separating him. A ton of players play Commander like this, and I personally like it. I've been like this. I've had this, and I know a lot of EDH players also share this opinion. Like, build something cool, build something a little bit slower that does really, really cool, awesome, amazing stuff, and you're gonna enjoy the game way more than if you're just playing to win. There's every other format. Every other format is for that mindset. Modern, standard, draft, everything. Pauper. It's all just one-on-ones with a small 60-card deck, 20 life. I'm going to do everything I can to kill you. You're going to do everything you can to kill me. We're going to try to play our deck efficiently and mercilessly to murder the other person. But Commander's not like that. It's a 4-man table. You got to make deals. You got to cut. You got to, hey, if I do this, don't do this to me. And it's so fun. I mean, and I don't honestly like. I get it. Like, it's not for everybody, but to me, it's the perfect game. I absolutely love the politics in the game where it's like, hey man, this dude's the problem. We gotta join forces to take care of this problem. And you say things in such a way, like when you cut a deal, like you word it very carefully. So maybe like you're keeping a hole open that you can, because you're like, no, I said the deal is I said that I wouldn't kill you on my turn. I didn't say I wouldn't kill you on their turn with instant speed stuff, right? So it's stuff like that. Like that's what I think. I love like convincing people to take care of threats that are a problem for my board. and them, thinking that it's good for them, but it's like amazing for me. You know what I mean? That's what I love about it, man. But you can see like this is the difference of the game that I showed you, where you got to see the full potential of the deck versus I do the same, because if you built a deck like this, it would do this every single game. How fucking boring is that? I don't like, no offense to CEH players. I'm not trying to yuck your yum. I know that I am yucking your yum, but I personally I just can't fathom why people want to play like that. So I was like, yeah, you would do this every single game. You would play Prismatic on like turn 3 or 4. You would get Niv Mizzet, and then you would tutor for Curiosity, and you would win. Or someone would stop it, and then they would do the same. Like in CEDH, you're gonna have your deflecting swats and your fierce guardian chips, and they're gonna have their deflecting swats and their fierce guardian chips, and it's just like, it's not even. They think that it's skill, but it's not. It's not skill. It's RNG. I digress, dude. I could complain about competitive EDH all day, every day. So if you like someone complaining about CEDH, hit that subscribe button. Because I'll be doing it probably on every episode ever. No, probably not. But I just wanted to make that point. Like this is so, like, honestly, like, biased aside, like, try to be completely unbiased. Do you really think this is as cool as what we did in the last game? I don't. It's an easy absolutely not for me. But anyways, that'll do it. That's the first episode of the new playlist that I'm gonna have on YouTube. Focus on Commander. I also have a podcast that I'm starting for Commander as well. I haven't named it yet, so I don't have a name to give you. But I'll let you know on definitely on the next episode. And as you can see, like, I have so many decks to talk about, and I think what I want to do with the channel is, if you want me to look, you want to give me a deck list and have me make it better, make it a turn 7 deck or a 6 deck or a 5. Like, it's not hard to make decks broken or stronger or faster. All you got to do is just, start leaning a little bit more towards those more OP cards. Like I said, for me, I like to do the turn 7. Turn 7 is the sweet spot. And that's what we just saw. Well, we kind of saw turn 6, but it happens. Like, consistently, the deck plays 7. All of my decks are like that. But if you get a really good hand, I mean, I think Ashaya can win on like turn 4 if it gets a really, really good draw. So, but I'd love to show you guys all this. So this is one I just built this deck last night. Just off of, like I said, that original idea that my brother showed me. You can see, like, he had, where's the original deck list he sent me? Here it is. So it was like a $2,200 deck, and we trimmed that bad boy down. I mean, it's still a hefty $678, but we took about like $1,500 off of it. So, anyways, that'll do it. We will see you guys on the next one. Vetis out.